What's going on, people? I'm Fumez The Engineer, producer, engineer, entrepreneur, businessman from West London originally, but I'm here, there and everywhere now, you know what I mean? I'm from West London, as mentioned. I grew up in South Acton. That one there is like the concrete jungle, man. There's a lot of stuff that was going on there. Trying to stay on the straight and narrow in South Acton was challenging, to say the least. You needed determination, you needed discipline, and you needed a clear vision of how you see yourself kind of getting out. And I feel like without that, I wouldn't be able to transition into the position that I'm in now and be the man that I am now before you. So I bounced from house to house. So I had my dad living in South Acton, then I had my mum who used to live in Hayes. So it was a thing of both different ends of West London. And it was a thing of like, my dad, if I'm honest, wasn't supportive of music. He wanted me to be a painter, decorator, and go with him to work and paint walls and that. I did that the other day with my girlfriend, and that's long. It's a myth. Like, it's a myth. I don't know how he does it. I had to phone him and say, you know what, Dad? Yeah, love, because that is mad. And then my mum on the other side was like super supportive of everything musical that I wanted to do. Like if I wanted to go to the studio and I was young, like 14, 15, she'd drive me to the studio. And then I'd stay there until like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and she'd happily come and get me at those mad times in the morning and just be like, cool, like it's fine as long as you're doing something positive. Do you get what I'm saying? So my mum pushed me in that direction, and I feel like I owe a lot of that to my mum, because maybe if I hadn't had the whole, like her willing to do these things late nights and all of that, I might not have wanted to go as much. I might not have wanted to be as involved as much. Yeah, man's happy with that still. Man, we'll have it here. Let's do stabs, and then yeah, just so they're here.
I'll do the double. I'll do the stabs.
Yeah, cool.
Hey, Fumez is a bad boy with his techers.
So having a family that was willing to support, well, one side at least, that was willing to support the dream and the goal, made a lot of a difference too, man. I started off music rapping. That's how mad it is. Like a lot of people might not even know that. I had songs on MySpace and all of these things back in the day. And then I used to record my songs in South Acton, the youth club. And then from there, I met my mentor, Ren, who then helped me, basically forced me into the behind the keyboard stuff, do you know what I mean? And from there, anytime I went to the youth club to play pool or table tennis or whatever, he'd just drag me to the studio and be like, look, I want you to try this, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And then my love for the game kind of grew from there, and I knew I wanted to be in music. I think it was like 3-4 years later, I remember watching like the 50 Cent movie and Eminem movie, Get Rich Die Trying, 8 Mile. From there, I kind of learned a lot about myself, where I said, you know what, I want to be in music, but I don't want to be a rapper anymore. You know, I'd go to the studio, I was charging like 10, 15 pound an hour. There was days I was coming home with 100 pound in my pocket, feeling like the man. I think that's when I realized, wait, I can do something more with this now. It's not just a hobby.
Pull up in the party with my chargy, no paparazzi. I'm with my army like kamikaze. I'm a yardie, come my hair's coolie, she thinks I'm Marley.
Plugged In was, it was an idea that I had for a while. And honestly, I slept on that idea for about 2 years. And then I launched it. And when I launched it, it was simply because at this point, I'd taken the behind the scenes brand as far as I could take it. What I mean by that is people heard Fumez The Engineer as an audio tag at the end of songs, but people would say they don't know what he looks like. I've never seen him talk, I've never seen his face. It was time to kind of come out of my shell and say to people like, this is me in my natural habitat at the studio. And I thought, what better way to do that than just naturally filming my reaction to them rapping.
Bookings on my email, Mary Stitch, she love the detail, run them down, and I love their females, gassed up like petrol. Real bad man from the ghetto, hear the sound of that echo, bullet blow at your marrow.
Seeing Plugged In like reach the level it reached, at the speed it reached, I had mixed emotions, and I don't feel like no one understand it apart from me, because 2 years I was planning Plugged In for. Do you get what I'm saying? So it wasn't a spare of the moment thought, it was a now or never action, but it wasn't a spare of the moment thought. So in my head, I saw it doing well and I was grateful, and I said, you know what, this is amazing. But then also in my head, I felt like, this should have happened 2 years ago.
Fuck a hideout, we ride out. They claim the OJ, let's find out. She wants to change me from this lifestyle. Don't hate me, blame me for the nights out. On the up block, parked up with the lights out. Creep up close and he knows it's time now.
But I'm grateful that we're in the moment. Do you get what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was kind of kicking myself that, yo, why didn't we just do this years ago? Like, why did we wait? What was the wait? Like, I couldn't answer the question. And I'm like, I'm glad I've done it now, but ultimately I was still a bit like, I'm a perfectionist and I feel like I'm extremely hard and disciplined on myself.
It was me at the start of the year trying to keep that trend of a new up packing. I've had enough of splash and bragging me.
So it's like, if I feel like I've made a mistake, that I like to self-reflect at the end of every day, like go through situations and be like, that could have been better, that could have been better, that could have been better. So when I was doing that with Plugged In, a lot of the time I was just like, the timing of it, we could have, if we came even 1 year earlier, you know, them times where Drake was doing behind bars and that.
You know how the pagan chit-chat goes. I like R's and V's and O's. I don't really play no tic-tac-toe. Been with chubs through highs and lows.
I've been doing a Plugged In. Do you get what I'm saying? And those are the things that were like, yo, like, but we done well, so. The reason why I didn't like initiate the Plugged In plan sooner was because I wasn't 100% if I had everything I needed.
If I lean on bop on your block with a mop, just know something might get tan. I jump out trying to swing my blade, or knows your piss if I swing my hand. And it's my man's ball, could have back his shank fresh out of. Now we slapped in a pack. Your friend dead card just ran, are we courtesy of the block 6 clan.
So for me, I'm someone that if I make a move, it has to be very calculated. I have to be 100% of it. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm not, then it will just sit on the back burner until I figure out why I'm not 100%, and then I address those issues. And that could take a month, a day, or a year, or 2 years. Which we Plugged In, it was simply because I didn't have everything in-house, and that was the problem.
Didn't think I'd be up in the booth with fumes. I let my boss talk and my tongue go loose. How you gonna block man, but you still come through? Indecisive, so a bigger man choose.
I needed to outsource different team members to initiate and put out a Plugged In, whereas that's not what I wanted to do. Because I knew that if it gets busy, I won't be able to sustain the workload, and it will cost more than it was. Like, I wasn't even thinking about money, but I was just thinking it would cost too much to even produce it.
Don't miss me with the rappers that never clash, rapping at rappers. In my hood, I'm good with the trappers. In my hood, I'm good with the bangers, but stay in my lane. The hood is a number of way.
Doing it that way. Do you get what I'm saying? I didn't know what Plugged In could make. I wasn't aware of streaming money like that. As an artist, when you first drop a song, you don't start thinking. Nowadays, you probably do because you hear a lot about, oh, if you stream this, you make this. At that time, it was just like let's build a brand. Like, I think it was 2021, I wrote a Plugged In. I said to you, I was gonna do it as well. I wrote a Plugged In, I was gonna do it.
Still murking, I just told Big Fumes, load the beat, I'll cut that. Somehow it comes out. Perfect.
There was someone in my team that just say, yo, like, see, once you do this, there's no turning back, you know, you're gonna be looked at like a rapper, bro, like, because you're rapping, you know what I mean? Like, the way we was gonna do it, it would have been a surprise. And I don't wanna give it all away yet, because there's still a possibility that, like, you see, if you see my Plugged In drop, that means there's no more Plugged Ins. That's like the season finale of the finales of the finale, like, there will never be another one. So that still might happen one day.
Fumez The Engineer.
But I feel like having that skill set of being able to rap, and I'm not gonna say I'm a rapper or try and like make it seem like it's so easy or whatever, but having that skill set kind of put me in a position to be a better producer. Alright, cool, let's do it in bits and just break it down and get each part proper, yeah? From the top, because when I'm in the studio now and I'm listening to a man's lyrics, not that I know everything or anything, but it's like I can hear something and be like, yeah, come, let's go.
And baby, you're trying to harass me, bedroom bully girl, take off your panty, chat them. Or do I double it or you double it?
I'll double it. Cool. But I think it needs to be lower than that still.
Your voice lower.
Yeah, lower. Take out that breath, or you've got a list, so don't put so many S's and C's in there, or take out a word, and then it builds the production better. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's where I feel like there's a strong striving point for me, because it's like I've got that expertise of little things that make the difference. With the studio I have now, it was me that realized, like, yo, like, I want to make a statement with this studio. I want the best studio in London. Like, I want people to walk in there and say, yo, what is this? Do you get what I'm saying? And for me, like, I contacted a studio design company and I spent a mortgage. No, not a mortgage. I spent the actual house on the studio, if that makes sense. Like, because when I got there, it was an empty warehouse, like pretty much like one of these. And then I've turned around and I said, cool, we're gonna box that off, do this, lock that off, soundproof this part, put the doors here, bam, make another entrance here. That will be the studio. And the guy looked at me and said, you wanna build a studio? I thought he was just doing storage. I said, don't worry, my brother, I got this. And then I got the team in and then boom, we created something that will stay at the art. And I felt like at the time I needed that. Do you know what I mean? Because I felt like the level up was important for man. The level up meant everything at that time. It still does. Like, people come in there and say, "Right, Fumez Studio's clean, it's neat, it's proper." Like, and for me, that's important. We've done it, so we wanted it to be like a spaceship. Like, so that is the kind of definition that I'd say. It's a spaceship that has like a cool, chill area as well. Do you know what I mean? If we're talking about influences, yeah, and I'm being brutally honest with myself, yeah, I think I've got the Americans, which to me was Eminem and 50. Later down the line came Dre, but Dre wasn't for his music, even though he was a GOAT. I never plugged in for Dre's music, if that makes sense, no pun intended. I was so interested with the Beats by Dre collaboration with Apple. That moved me. I was like, bro, that's what he did, yeah?
Apple possibly poised to make the biggest deal in its history, and in the process, create what could be hip-hop's first billionaire.
Cool. Like, that's the kind of power moves that kind of opened my mind to, bro, this music thing is deeper than music. You can go into a different world of business and elevate on levels that you didn't expect to. Oh no, I missed one out US-wise, DJ Khaled.
You become a boss if you're smart and you build your own brand and you create your own empire.
That, of course, like, he gave me the whole idea of putting songs together with artists and making it happen, like DJ Khaled 100 times. Can't forget him. And then if you go to the UK, I gotta give it to people like Charlie Sloth.
And that is a real historical moment in rap music over here in the UK. People will talk about it in 20 years come, spinning and shit.
Kenny All-Star.
This is Kenny All-Star. Kenny All-Star.
Yes, it is that time once again. Another legendary Voice of the Streets freestyle, and we are ending 2024 strong.
Link Up TV, Jamal Edwards, like, those people hugely inspired to build what I have today, whether it was putting the songs together, the freestyle platforms, the impact it has on the culture, ways to do your business. Like, those people there, without even knowing, because I don't think I've even admitted this to any of them, do you get what I'm saying? But those people motivated me in ways that they'll never understand. What made the biggest impact for me as a producer was COVID.
Stay at home and protect lives. That's the clear warning from the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock.
COVID, there was a great opportunity. Everyone's at home, everyone's bored, everyone's looking for stuff to do, looking for time to kill. I just needed to provide some level of entertainment, and I felt like it would have been eaten up, and it was. When you're talking about key moments with music, it's difficult because it's like, I've done certain, so I never knew A92 was gonna blow up like that.
I'll swim my arm in a figure of 8, or I won't leave till the whole clip empty. Them boy ain't none but pagans, I can see why them boy love envy. I want LV, Prada or Gucci, I might just offend my ops and Fendi. And when juice gets spilled like soda, now I will say no words like Kenny.
I never knew TPL was gonna blow up like that. I didn't know Russ was gonna go off like that. I had a feeling Crankface would.
How can I rate them man there? Have you ever seen an up and still they jump out gang with a fed man there? Them man rock with my ops, can't rock with my block, so you know it's fuck them man there.
With Skepta was when I was unsure. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what I did know is it was going to be a moment for the culture that everyone paid attention to.
Everybody's like, flashbacks to the cold nights in the trap. Now I'm in a new whip, counting a big stack. White gold chain and the diamonds are black. Jack me, nah, you don't want to do that.
And they did. The replay value I was unsure of, in terms of, will they keep coming back to it? Will it get 100 million streams? Will it get 10 million streams? I was unsure on that part, but I was sure on the impact it would have on the scene at the time. So you can never really be sure on a key moment, but those are all key moments that I mentioned that I was unsure of. Do you get what I'm saying? Skepta's one was huge for me. A92 was huge for me. Ross was huge. Krengface was huge. Pete and Bass, huge.
I came, I saw, I conquered, waking up in my Gucci boxes. Couple of jabs with a 1-2 bang, I'll knock your block off. Yeah, fling balls like Frederick Flintoff. Clean shot, make a man dance, and I don't need TikTok.
You get what I'm saying? Like, those moments kind of defined the platform and gave it maybe the stamp in simplest terms of acceptance from the right people. Do you get what I'm saying? The labels came, everyone was interested, you know what I'm saying? So those things there were key moments for me. You put together the best you can, like, what are you gonna do for marketing? What time should you drop it? What platform will you drop it on? Who are you partnered with? Is there PR behind this? What press can you do? All of that is like a pre-plan.
None of them work like Pete and Baz, got a bigger net worth than Peter Jones. Run up in his ass and a kick off the door when the family's out in his own on his own.
Ultimately, if I kind of do the same for majority of plugins, but they don't all have the same effect, and that's what's hard to explain to certain artists. It's like, I will market you the same way I marketed Skepta, the same way I marketed A92. Does it mean that you're gonna hit like those two? I can't guarantee that. In terms of work rate, I think at the start you go full throttle and you just work yourself like a headless chicken, running around trying to do everything. Then you get a team around you, you find some stability, you start working more smart, less hard. I don't like saying that, it seems like you're slacking, but really and truly, if you're working smart, it's better than working hard in a lot of ways. But if you can combine the two, that's like the perfect mix, which is kind of where I felt like the consistency came from, which then provides the work rate with a meaning. A lot of people will say they do it the long way because they love the struggle, but I don't love the struggle. I can only keep it 100. The struggle is long. I struggled enough. Give me the short route. Do you know what I mean? Like, give me the smart and easy route. Don't give me this is the long way with a lot of hard work, and give me the smart way that accomplishes the same thing, please. Every partnership that I've done with a platform was strategic. When I went with Link Up, it was strategic, but it fell on my lap at the same time. It was because I was around them and I saw what they was doing. And then I also knew that I wanted to build my brand. And I also knew that they were doing behind bars and they was working with everyone.
Heady one trying to roll that land like Kelly. We was doing anything green, get Shelly, still do it like I did it with Tug of War. Bad B come to the NIS for the D, we ain't gotta go Potter's Bar. 2 hands on a hefty freezer, I gotta do is lock my arms.
And then they was doing like mic check, and then they was doing loads of different freestyle shows where I was the main engineer. Obviously they had engineers before me, but then afterwards I became the main engineer, where I'd literally sit down and say, look, I'm mixing all these songs and all of them songs have my tag at there.
One.
Fumez The Engineer.
That was kind of a way to push myself out through a platform that was already gaining loads of traction. Then the move to Press Play was a move that was also strategic.
Specifically since Plugged In and Studio with Fumez moved over from Link Up TV, Press Play has been seeing a crazy rise in views and subscribers because, thanks to Fumez, they've now got a USP. These unique shows are exclusive to them, with some of the best talent in the UK drill scene coming on.
Because I felt like, even though I had built my name with Link Up, some people were associating Link Up and me like this.
For this Luger, them man need a computer. They want me in court again, going at it with a prosecutor.
If that makes sense. And I didn't ever want to be someone that was associated to a platform because of a platform. There's people that you look at and you say, I don't want to name no one because it's not positive, but you look at certain people and you say, they lost that platform and they became lost themselves. Do you get what I'm saying? So I always wanted to be able to let people know it's me. And at the same time, I felt like I hit a ceiling at Link Up anyway. Like, I wanted to do more, I wanted to bring more to the table, and I felt like they had so much going on, they didn't have the time to care about what I wanted to do. They were just like, this is what we need you to do. And I understand that being a business owner now and having to steer my own ship now, I understand what it must have been like at that time for someone like a Rashid to be hearing me saying, bro, I got an idea, as like a young kid. Like, not saying that he made the right choice or a wrong choice, I can just understand what it must have been like at the time, because I get it now. That was a different time in the industry where you could actually reach out to artists and They just wanted to work. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, business wasn't as business as it is now. Like now, like everyone stands on business a lot, and it's good. At the same time, it closes a lot of doors. Like yeah, there's certain stuff where if I stood on business, them songs wouldn't have had me on it, if that makes sense. Like certain collaborations to some of the biggest projects that I've been involved in. Like if I stood on business and said, yo, actually, nah, contractually, I need this. Like there's certain songs, I don't want to say, but there's no contracts involved for none of the songs, and I was just happy to be a part of it. Do you know what I'm saying? And the same with all the artists involved. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, those were a different time, and I feel like those moments where people just link up and make stuff happen are kind of the best moments for fans, because they get to hear the music that they want to hear.
My whole team getting high off sativa. My food's paying like Erin Bedina. If you ain't gang, then you can't get a feature. I don't follow back chicks, I'm a leader.
Obviously, we're at a point now where money is important and contracts are important, because it highlights the splits, the percentages, the PRS, the licensing, the masters, the correct owners. All of that needs to be in play. But the times when I was making the mixtape, it just was different.
Anything is anything, still got problems, I ain't settling. Niggas wanna turn me devilish, if I get dark, I smash his melanin.
It was just younger me, and it was younger artists, and it was just a different game where everyone was just like, you get like 10 people on a song and it doesn't matter. No one cares. The song's just out there, do you know what I'm saying? Doing what it's doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Mixtape days were like, you can phone a man and say, yo bro, can you jump on this song for me? He'll say, yeah. And then he'll say, yeah, but obviously boom, boom, boom. And I'll say, yeah, cool. He'll be like, yeah, just mix down 2-3 songs for man, or give man this, get man this beat or whatever. Cool.
Bro, I skim with the prettiest face. Bro, fuck an art charge, so I asked for the aid.
Simple agreements that were just like, that was it, like a phone call. Nowadays, you need 5 pages minimum on a document, crossed over with lawyers. Like, you see, like, when I phone a man in a rush, like I phone a man and say, yo, can you come tonight? Myth. Right now, you need about 4 or 5 working days minimum for the lawyers to read over it, back and forth between the managers. Like, it's not bad, I'm just saying that it's different. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that kind of kills a lot of momentum where you could do these mixtapes and just run with it. Nowadays, it's a lot more techie to get it done, do you know what I'm saying? Putting together something like the mixtape 2, yeah, where I had like your RVs, your Heady Ones, your M Hunchos, like Ambush, like everyone was popping at that time as well, do you get what I'm saying? That was Jumpy days, No Better, like M Huncho, Mad About Bars times, like.
7 days, had no sleep, I'll have it later, cause I'm out here. Been on the roads, been grinding late hours. Trap, scam and finesse, money's got powers.
Everyone was, like, they're still all doing well, but what I'm saying is it was fresh off the boat, lively, like, and I felt like the business just started getting introduced then. So I hit an obstacle trying to sign that tape to a label where it was like, have you got clearances? And I didn't even know what a clearance was. And then I've come back and I'm like, wow, I gotta get clearances. So I had to go back and get clearances, you know what I'm saying? And then everything patterned out, but it's just like, yo, I didn't understand any of the streaming until the label offered me a deal. And then when I looked at the number on the deal, I still didn't understand. I had to speak to my lawyer and say, so how much am I streaming now? And then she told me, and I said, me? Okay. So that's why, okay. Do you get what I mean? Like, there was no understanding there before that, you know what I mean? I think A92 charted within the first year, because it didn't go off straight away. Like, I think it went off like 6 months after it dropped.
My hunting comment like Corona, if it costs twice and it's turning you back. They say that we come like athletes, circle your block when we do them laps. All I attack trying to get this pagan, all I attack and the fields don't lack.
You know what I mean? And then it just went crazy. And then all the football players were posting it and everyone was posting it. You know what I mean? Like, it was a crazy experience still.
Come can't sing, don't sing like 6, don't snitch like 9, still circle them 2 times with a machine, no gym, trying to put him in the sky, make an up-boy fly, get whacked by mine.
I felt a bit confused, because I was like, how did I manage to do this? Do you know what I'm saying? I was a bit like, seeing myself chart, I was just confused. Like, how? Like, what? It was mad. It still is mad. I'm still like, wow, like, we actually tried, like, I think we tried like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, I don't think an engineer's ever did that.
Buck into A and you can hold 2 in the paint, no free throw. Bow now the gun need reload. Stuck in the trap with one eye open, hoping the cats don't drop that kilo.
That's when I realised it's deeper than engineering. Like, we're actually producing. We're actually putting songs together, marketing plans, like we're producing the whole product. And then when I realized, okay, cool. Like, yeah. Now I get what the labels get. I didn't get it before. People don't know the amount of studio hassle that man's actually lived through. Like, the amount of times that we went to the studio and it's locked. The amount of times that I then had to find a new studio. The amount of times that even I found a new studio, done up a new studio, signed the contract for the studio, obviously not in that order. I've done it up. The landlord was happy, but I think it was 2 weeks later, a man has introduced himself to me as my landlord. And I'm like, no, my landlord's downstairs. And he's like, no, I'm the landlord. He's my tenant. And then now he's subcontracted to you, which isn't legal. So we want you out. After I just spent like 25K doing up the studio, like that was the actual first plugged in studio. They wanted me out immediately. There were times where a man had to sleep in the studio because man wanted to change the locks. You know what I'm saying? Like locksmiths are coming at all 1 a.m. with contracts saying we're allowed to change the locks, and man saying, well, man's in here, and man's gonna stand here, and you're not doing that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the legal battles, yeah, it was long, man. Those ones were the wins that people don't see.
Feds having nightmares when I got my ice. Girl up on my left side, girl up on my right. 6-figure transfer when I come a ride. That's why the ops them just wanna take my life.
The Bad Habits remix it came across very spontaneously. That I think Jamal Edwards had a lot to do with that, but I can never know for sure right now. I know he was there on the day, but I think he nudged Ed to my direction, if that makes sense, for a drill remix.
Tough luck, you got brought top in my drop top, get top in my young buck. If you catch it up, no double eating with a butt.
And I think from there, it's just random. Like, I just got a FaceTime call, like a random number. I've answered, and I'm just seeing a whole Ed Sheeran, bro. Like, I'm used to seeing my man on the streets with the guitar and that. Like, I'm just, what are you doing here on this phone? Do you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, like, we really want to put together a remix, like a drill. We think you're the man to make it happen. I started looking around like, am I being pranked? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on now? You know what I mean? And he's saying to me like, yeah, boom, like, can you come studio? I think it was like 2 days later or something. I'm like, yeah, sure, bet. Went studio. He told me what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. I met he's like his right hand, I think, like Fred again, and he kind of showed me, look, like this is the angle. Who do you think we should get on the song? And then I said to him, look, Sench and Tion makes sense. Like, I've got ties to both. Do you know what I'm saying? I've worked with both, so it's not a hard fix. So yeah, like that happened, and then put the song together. C-Dot composed the beat with me in terms of like, I told him like the areas that man want to go in, how man wanted to sound, the vibe man's going for. We sat down, boom, bam, Bob's your uncle. Ed was happy with it. Yeah. And then history was kind of already made with the original. Like, and then we managed to get, another 8 weeks at #1. So we all got our official little awards. Not a little, but it's little, but it's a big. Yeah, it's a #1 in the UK, like my first ever #1. I've done top 40, I've done top 100, but I've not done #1. Even now, I'm like, I've got a song with Ed Sheeran. Like, it don't make sense. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm like, from Plugged In to Ed Sheeran. Mad.
When you blow, the first tryna get help with the roads. Me no know.
I got gal everywhere in the globe, but everyone disappears when you're broke. If bro calls me and says that time I don't care, I'm putting my career on hold.
Fumez The Engineer.
Working with HOODRICH at the start was new, it was challenging, because this is my first time going into business. Do you know what I'm saying? And respectfully, I felt like it was kind of HOODRICH's first time as well. Because remember, like, the HOODRICH that you see now is not the HOODRICH that I met. Do you get what I'm saying? I met Matt and Jay. So we're in this now and we're trying to do something. It was just two brothers from the hood trying to click and make something happen. Do you get what I'm saying? And I felt like through that, like we experienced so many obstacles that grew both of us. Like me and Jay and me and HOODRICH as a company and Plugged In and HOODRICH, like all 4 entities was grown in every challenging moment. You get what I'm saying? And I can't link one piece of clothing to me or Plugged In. I can only just link HOODRICH.
Shit, I must be dumb. Got back right after I blew in a dingo I rag about. I can't blow no chase when I'm off my face. In case the foodie was wrapping up.
There was a time where it wasn't Plugged In if it wasn't HOODRICH. It wasn't HOODRICH if it wasn't Plugged In. Like, that's just what it was. Like, the streets knew it for that. That for me was a crazy, surreal moment to know the impact that we had on the culture and being a part of the development of such a big international brand.
Beanies with me like they are part of the gang. Cheeky chappy ain't bad, I'm the lad that'll roll with a whole bag of girls like cause it's good for my mental. Feel presidential the way they salute.
Between me and HOODRICH, we've had a time, bro. We've had a proper journey.
What's going on? It's Fumez The Engineer. We're in Paris, France, JD Sports, HOODRICH. What's this, Q3?
Each moment is like something important to man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the first ever deal I signed, and then the second deal, and then the third, and JD Sports, and then JD Sports again, and renewals, and being taken abroad to do certain things and produce content. It's like everything was a crazy journey that helped develop me in a business state as well. Because remember, like HOODRICH was my first introduction to like proper corporate companies like JD Sports that have to follow like precise guidelines and get everything right and bare people are held accountable if something goes left. And it kind of made me realize, okay, so if I'm learning from these guys, like this is kind of how I need certain things in my company to run. Those moments there were vital and played a huge part in my come up, and that is HOODRICH and that is me.
Look, tell a man no trouble, I don't want beef, man, I just want vibes. Big man like me, no need for the telephone hype. I got too much getting online. One rule, then I'm on site. Wrong move, I bet they gon' ride.
For me, it's important to create opportunities point blank, whether they're young, up and coming, or whether they're your Pete and Baz's, really just pushing in a different kind of niche. Giving people a platform is essentially giving people an opportunity, but they're also giving you an opportunity to present them in the right way and get the best out of them. And I feel like it's a mutual opportunity that has to be taken, and it's important that both parties seize the opportunity and are given an opportunity. It's like a moment of trust. I use the Skepta Plugged In a lot as a reference. Like, he allowed man to have, I say allowed man because he's Skepta, innit? He could have just said, no, we're doing it like this, but he didn't. He allowed man to have my say. He allowed man to do things how man like things done. And that was an opportunity that I was able to seize, and I learned a lot from that. I wouldn't even say it was an opportunity for Skepta, because really and truly it's Skepta. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, it's important to get opportunities, and that's why I say it goes both ways, because Ed Sheeran gave me an opportunity. Like, the brutal truth of it is, even though it might seem like I've credited myself, whatever, the truth of the matter is he could have done that with anyone, bro. It would have charted. It's Ed. You get what I'm saying? He's done it with man, and that's the opportunity he's given to man. So man's forever grateful, and it's important to be ready for an opportunity.
I can feel the paradise before my world implodes. And tonight had something wonderful.
Yeah. A piece of advice that I'll give my younger self would be just obviously believe in yourself, but focus on your brand. A lot of other things can be distractions, and if you're building your brand, then you're building yourself, and then from that, you can always give people opportunities when the time is right. Then you're in a position to give opportunities.
Oh my God.
Taxi with them there as well, yeah? Take one of the food ones on.
Right there.
Do you see what I'm saying? That would be the main piece of advice I'd give my younger self. Felt like I gave a lot at a younger age when I didn't have a lot to give. Ultimately, that becomes draining, and you start to look at the game differently. And I don't feel like people will understand that fully and probably get misinterpreted, but I know what I mean. I'll say, for me, for 2025, is just expect to see me in 2025 working, staying consistent, doing what I do. Like, I'm pushing in every angle I can push in right now. So it's more than just music. And we might be quiet, but we're working on stuff behind the scenes. What fully happens, only God controls, but we're working. We're giving ourselves the best possibility to be where we want to be. HOODRICH to me means the start. And that's not just the clothing brand, that's the phrase HOODRICH. That's where everyone from the hood wants to start. You get what I'm saying? Like everything starts from the moment that it all starts flowing properly. Then from there you go on to Rich and all of these things, you know what I'm saying? But HOODRICH is kind of the start of your journey. Like that's where you realize, okay, things are ticking, how do I take it to the next level and get to where I want to get to? And that for me was HOODRICH, was the start.
Yo.